Imagine convincing the Swiss Tourism Board to fly out 80 creators for a luxurious retreat in the Alps, where you have guest speakers like Jack Conte, the founder and CEO of Patreon, or alternatively hosting intimate gatherings over candlelight in Toronto, where incredible storytellers tell the stories that mean something to them about the songs that mark a moment in their life. But there is one person in common with all of this, and that is Danny Desatnik. We met digitally a few years ago, and it's been incredible to see his journey putting together these events, and making them so memorable to the people who attend, and so desirable to the people who want to. There is a reason I'm flying out in about 5 hours now from London to Texas to attend his next event, which is the Creator Camp Film Fest. So I won't ramble any further. I'll let Danny Desatnik do the talking and inspire you about how you can organize your own incredible events that actually make an impact and that actually have people coming back for more.
The one thing that was a crazy unlock from this experience that I will continue to take with me for the rest of my life is if you can bring 80 people into a room and there is a standard for the type of person that is brought into that room, and that standard is respected by those people in the room, what ends up happening is twofold. Either you really want to be respected by the people you don't know, or you're just really excited to create things with those people that you already respect. If you can then give them an arena at the end, not at the, again, building an experience is important here. If you can do it at the end where you don't say there's no collaboration for the first 3 days, there's no required posting for the first 3 days, just like go be homies, like find your people. If by the end you can go, okay, well, here's this challenge, and everyone's like itching to like work with each other, and you go, great, here's this challenge. We're not going to do this for social media. We're not doing this for the world. We're doing this for the 80 people right here, right now. Here are the groups. Go show each other what you're each made of. And like, you want to be respected by, I want to be respected by Parker because we're in the same room and I've seen your shit. And even if I haven't seen your shit, I'm like, you're here for a reason. So like, I want you to respect me just like you want to respect me. And I think that was the big learning, is like, that's when you can that's when insane stuff is created, is when you can create an environment and an arena where you are giving people a thing to do, but the goal is to get the people that are in that room to respect you, not to get millions of views around the world. And again, that's all based on experience, and it's all based on curation. Like the way you do it is very important. And like where it started to become really obvious to me is on the second day, Jack Conte gave a keynote in the morning. And I remember it was like 7:30 a.m. and he was supposed to meet us there at 7:30. He was going to give a talk at 8:30, or 8:45, but we were going to go to the place at 8 and like run through stuff anyway. And it's 7:30 and he's not there. And his team's like, yeah, I'm going to be like, he's going to be there around like 7:50. He comes and he looks like a zombie, man. Like his eyes are bloodshot and like no energy. And like, what's going on? Good. Yeah, he was up until 5 a.m. working on this keynote speech. And I was like, in what world where you're Jack Conte? You're like, you can off the cuff deliver something that is so powerful that any of us will be moved. But I was like, all right, man, it's like, cool. We run through some stuff, sound check, everything's fine. Get him water, he's fine. All the creators come in, he delivers this insane keynote that was like, again, so emotionally charged. And then everyone feels something, whatever. They fled out to the next activity, and a bunch of people from the Creator Camp team stayed back just to interview him, like one-on-one, to get some footage. And I remember one question one of our filmmakers asked him was like, we heard you stayed up till 5 a.m. Why did you care to stay up till 5 a.m. to work on this keynote where, similar, like, you are Jack Conte, everyone looks up to you? And he goes, I needed to be respected by the 80 people here because they're the new wave. And what matters to me is to be validated by these people because they're like my new peers. And I don't want to seem like the old head or the person who has done cool shit. I want to be respected and seen as a peer with these people. And that's when I was like, oh shit, that's so human. Like, of course that's the reason. Of course you want to be respected by your peers. And then when the film fest happened, I was like, oh, that happened again. Okay, that makes a ton of sense again. Because no one really had a bad attitude going into it. Everyone was like, all right, man, fuck, well, that group's a power group. They're probably going to win, but like, let's go for it. Let's have fun. Again, it's curation. It's getting down to human need. And then, building that experience so that what you get out of it and what you give people is not vanity. It's either a chance to be validated by the people they respect or a chance to get that feeling that either they know they want or they know they didn't need that they wanted.
And it's those stories that are more anecdotal that keep you going, even if the metrics themselves are harder to measure.
1,000, dude. Yeah, man, you can't. I remember the first Creator Camp Summit I went to, which was in Utah in March 2023, and 2 creators on like the second last day showed their upcoming YouTube videos or short films in front of everyone. I think there was like 50 people there, 55, 60 people there. And everyone's just sitting on the floor, and there was like a janky projector and projecting screen, and they showed their videos. And then after the first video, everyone's applauding. Everyone's like standing up, and I remember the guy's face being like, holy shit. Like, I got 55 people looking at me right now, loving my stuff, giving me praise, wanting to talk. And I remember hearing them go like, dude, this means so much more to me than 1 million views. Like, I need this more. And I see it the same way with my playlist storyteller shows. I usually always bring this one guy from LA named Blake Casemayer. He's an unbelievable storyteller and also big into music. He's like the perfect person for this event. And he has, 350K on IG, quite often get millions of views on his videos. But then he comes to deliver a story in front of a room of 60 people. And he's always like, there's no feeling like this. Yes, it's just 60, but there's no feeling. Like, you can't replace this feeling. So to your point, yeah, man, again, we're all fucking human. Like, we can forget it. We can forget it when we're on the internet or creating stuff on the internet or seeing these unrealistic numbers or seeing all these negative comments. But at the end of the day, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, man. You want that safety, and then you want that social security, and then you want that acceptance, and then you want that validation, and then you want that self-fulfillment. And so that's how you got to build experiences, especially when community matters.
If you're enjoying watching this discussion so far, you can click the first link in the description, where you'll get access to my free weekly newsletter where we discuss the incredible people events in the creator economy, as well as how this new media space is reshaping society and culture. So if you want to spot what others miss and stay ahead in this rapidly evolving industry, click the first link down in the description and on to the rest of the conversation. Enjoy. Because it's a big ask to fly 80 American creators across the world to the Swiss Alps in a phenomenal villa. So how did you manage to get them on board with such an endeavor and get them in line with that vision and see the potential benefit for both parties?
Yeah, man, I'll give you an answer that like you won't want to hear. And that's honestly like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, Chris sent an email, like, I think it was beginning of December 2023, and said, look, each year we do this thing. This is our network. These are the types of creators we come out. This is the type of experience we put on. We're looking to do it bigger and better this year, blah, 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 blah. And then we got on the phone with them. They seemed interested. We gave a proposal, but like the proposal was like not a great proposal. Like, it was, again, how it happened, man, is crazy to me. But what we've learned afterwards, after seeing them and getting to know them and understanding their thought process, is Switzerland, again, a lot of this is right time, right place. Switzerland's like one of the greatest destinations in the world, so they have no issue with tourism. What they really want are twofold. One is they want to showcase more parts of Switzerland that maybe don't get as much love. But two, they go, we want to plant seeds with the next generation so that when they have more money, like, we know everyone's already spending on Switzerland, but we want that younger generation to go, ooh, like, yeah, when we're 28, 29, 30, 25, whatever, we want to go to Switzerland. And then the second thing is, I don't know, man, we got really lucky in that they trusted us somehow. The agreement was hella risky on their side. The agreement was we wouldn't require a creator to post, but what they would do is they would participate in our like one-day film festival, and that stuff would be like collab posted with us and them, whatever. And yeah, man, I went into it going like, holy shit, I hope this works. Because like, no creator needs to post. Like, that's crazy. What we've learned, though, is there is a formula to it, and there's a reason why we do that. Like, there is a reason why we do it that way. Is it goes, you don't need to post, but it's because of Tourism Switzerland, Patreon, and Notion that we're able to do all this fun stuff. So like, the moments that matter to you over the next 3-4 days, it is not because of us, it is because of them. So if you're going to post something, we would appreciate that, like, you show love. You don't have to make a video about them, but we would just appreciate that you either tag the location or you just tag them in the post. Like, it doesn't need to, again, it's not an integration. It's not a brand deal, but it goes, as you feel something in this experience, don't attribute that feeling to us, attribute that feeling to the people that made this possible. And each day it would be, hey guys, like, good morning, again, how amazing was that thing yesterday? Again, Fabio and Danielle and Jack, Conti, whatever, like, thank you guys. Like, we would just continuously be like, it's them, it's them, it's them, it's not us, it's not us. Now, when you put on an amazing experience like that, of course people are going to create content. Like, of course, like, you're stupid not to think that. I think the question almost goes to how much and what's the mechanism. And then the film festival blew them away because, like, that gives someone 10 hours. Yeah, they've never seen it. They've never seen anything like that. And I've never seen content in such a short time, like a constraint, like 10 hours to be created. That was fucking crazy to me. So when they saw that and they went, wait, all right, here's insanely high content that they don't have license to, but insanely high content that is being shown between 80 creators that we definitely have overlapping audiences. And that was strategic on our side. Plus you have all this organic content that comes through. Plus you have our content coming from our channels. Plus they ended up being like, well, because all the creators are already in Switzerland, they had options to extend the trip. And if they extended the trip to go on specific excursions, then they had specific deliverables. But they were already they were enjoying the whole experience before. Like, they were a fan of everyone. They got to meet the tourism board. That if you're like, yeah,
no brainer,
give us like 2 reels and like 2 stories, and we'll give you like an extra 3 days or whatever. They're like, yeah, whatever, like, easy. And so, how did we convince them? I don't know. I think a lot of it, again, right time, right place. I think it was showcasing the quality of people that we bring. I think it was showing what we've done in the past. Even though it wasn't a lot, it was still showing the stuff that we've done. And there were just big numbers to it, man. Like, you said, oh, look, we're bringing these people. And they're like, holy shit, they have 2.5 million on YouTube. And
well, it costs a lot to fly all those people out. You would pay a single video production company more because you're not paying for the advertising, you're not paying for the creation of the material, you're just paying the travel costs. And sure, it's of 80 people, but maybe otherwise you're still paying for 20 people. So in terms of their margin is far higher. And I think, like, the Film Fest, I think, was so genius in so many ways because it covered so many bases. Like, it was good for Tourism Switzerland because you're giving them guaranteed content. You'll absolutely get, like, let's say 35 videos. But then it's good for the creators there because then maybe they get to meet and hang out with people that they wouldn't have otherwise chatted to because there's so many and, they didn't know each other before. And then it also gives, people to come together at the end and see each other's creative expression and sort of the messages that they want to put out into the world. So it's like such a good combination. And then the cross-posting at the end where, they get to associate with Creator Camp gets to build the brand off each of their profiles. Like, it just hits, I think, every base there that it's just like a perfect combination. You've always seemed to have a very clear community focus, like you're doing the partnerships and the events hosting at hashtag, and then obviously joining Creator Camp, which is peak community. And then why do you think that you're always wanting to gather people together, especially in this new digital environment?
It's a good question. To your point, it's definitely a pattern. If I go all the way back, it's like my mom's that type of person. My mom's the person that will always care for someone else before she cares for herself. And so I think subconsciously seeing that growing up. The second thing is when I tried to get into the music industry after I jumped out of accounting.
That's a big shift.
Yeah. Yeah. I think subconsciously the only currency I had in that world is if I knew more people or I knew more things happening than any other person. Because I didn't have experience, I didn't have a network. I was just passionate about it. And so that led me to go, cool, if I can be a connector, or if I can scour the internet and meet a lot of people and then take that information and then talk to someone else and say, oh, have you heard about Parker? And they'd be like, who's Parker? And I'm like, oh, I got to connect you to Parker. And then they go, oh shit, this guy's tapped. That's an easy way to win trust. And that's an easy way for people to want to have you in their life in some way. When it comes to creatives, everything is networks. Because it's taste. It's just like, I need to trust that the person who's behind the camera or editing or doing whatever on that creative side, whether pre, during, or post, is going to be able to execute or give me something that matches that vision that I have. And once you have, to your point, once you have someone that goes, yeah, cool. I really trust this person. I don't want to spend time looking for the right person. I'm just like, who is the person that I should get to cut my clips? Done. Or who's the person that I should get to film my shows? Oh, this person? Why? Oh, because of blah, 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 blah. Cool. Can I talk to them? Hey, how are you? Oh, are you a good person? Yeah, great. Okay, come shoot the show. You don't want to spend time. And so, to your point, yeah, the more people that are that have you top of mind, and then the more stuff you put out that allows you to be top of mind, it just makes a lot of sense. And you'll get to this point of, I was talking to, do you know a guy named Sam Snowden? Have you seen that name? He does the documentaries for the Minted guys, like Marcus Milioni and Sean Milioni. And what he says, like when I was talking to him, he's like, and look, like people now want to talk to me because I do cool shit. But they're like, it's like all I had to do is for 2-3 years, just like keep taking opportunities and to your point, keep refining and putting out good stuff. And he's like, at a point, it just reached a tipping point where a lot of people saw my stuff and liked it. And I had enough in the bank and I had enough of a network and it all just rolls. And so it's not a hard thing to do, of course, but there is like a path. You know, it's not like it's obscure and you're like, I don't know what the hell to do. Like there's definitely a path.
Trust in portfolio.
Yeah. And just keep putting out the stuff that matters to you and someone will pick it up for sure. And then the last thing, I think in terms of like where it affected, I remember my dad got me to read this book called Never Eat Alone when I was in like internships in university. And I think that also just laid the groundwork for just like how I thought about things. I've always really, really enjoyed curating things and connecting people and bringing like distinct things in person. I think that like live production to make someone feel something is so unique and you can't replicate that anywhere else. But as I've gone on, #paid was like massive, big network, like of 30,000 creators. How do you serve as many creators? How do you do a lot of stuff? Creator Camp is a lot more refined. Maybe let's say there's like 150 creators. Sure, like film festival is different, but like all the curated spaces where it's not open to the public, that's between 20 and 85 max per time. So like very curated. And then Playlist Storytellers is even more curated. And that's what I care for. So it's like funny in that with the currency I care for is high curation. Like I hate top of funnel events. I hate the I will never throw a mixer. Like I'll be a part of it if there's like 3 people and I like the people or I like the company and they're like, hey, can you be a part of it? Yeah, sure. But I will never take the initiative to throw a mixer because the thing I care about is John Bellion has this great quote. He's my favorite artist. He goes, I'd rather feed 25 than entertain 100. And that's where I'm at now. And so like I do behind the scenes dinners in Toronto, 5-6 people at the table, either creators or industry. Playlist Storytellers, highly curated. I go hand-to-hand combat. I'm usually the one going around and inviting people in DMs or text or email. And then, if it'll get out and other people will come through and that's great and they'll buy a ticket and that's awesome. Like I want that to happen. And then Creator Camp is very much high curation. And so because I find the thing you can't scale in 2025, which is also the greatest mode, is taste. And I think gathering and in person and events and so-called community, a lot of it is all about taste. The last thing I'll say on it is that I wouldn't, it's maybe like not controversial, like maybe it's like counterintuitive, but I don't care too much about the word community. I think about Playlist Storytellers. I'm not trying to actively build a community. Like I'm trying to build an amazing fucking show that you come through, you feel something, you leave and you go, damn, either I want to tell someone or that brought up a memory for me or I want to come back.
So that's what you're trying to appeal to when you organize something. That core thing of like that was it transformational? Is it inspirational? Is it what do you, when you're planning something, how do you know that it's working? What are you actually trying to aim for there? It's like, okay, I've got the event sorted because it's hitting this mark and this will create.
No, it's a great question. I'm still figuring that out. But it all comes
obviously
back
working so far.
You do. But it all comes back to the feeling. Like I want someone to feel something. And so there's 3 markers of qualitative metrics. It's either someone says to me, damn, like I haven't felt something like that in so long. Or, oh shit, that brought up so many memories of my own. Or when's the next one? Like any of those 3, I know I've done my job. There's a really interesting like sauna ice bath facility that was started in Toronto. It just expanded in New York this year. It's called Othership. And when I spoke to people on their team, they said that throughout their experience, like the Othership experience, you pay for like an hour and a half and they take you through a whole thing. And they define and they look at their experience in magic moments. And there's like 8 or 9 magic moments that they have to hit. And they're like, if each person hits every magic moment, we know they're going to come back. We know they're going to feel what we want them to feel. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do you put a quantitative metric to that qualitative feeling?
I guess, do people come back for more?
And I was going to say, I think that's a great point, that like that is the best metric.
Or maybe also like What's the commitment they're putting in to go there? Like, for you to host,
Definitely.
the Camp Film Fest, and for me to fucking spend all of my savings to fly from London to Austin to go to that, like, that's a pretty good indication that something's working. But if, you're just trying to sell a t-shirt and no one's buying that, well then, they're opposite sides of the spectrum there.
1,000, dude. 1,000. Yeah, I think it's on the Creator Camp side, it's interesting because this is the first time we've ever opened something up to the public, and we've ever opened something up this big. Like, the jump is massive. We've never done an event for more than 85 people.
Even that's still massive.
Yeah, agreed. Especially when you're trying to fly them across the country, across the world into a different country. And so, candidly, like, when you look at going from 85 people to 1,200 people, I think the thing that you have to hold true is, one, you have to define the experience. You can't let a traditional form of what you're doing define it. What I mean is, you can't go to a film festival and go, this is how a film festival should work. This is how we need to put it on. It needs to be kind of that, like, what is that feeling you're going for? What activities, what programming, what world can you build that will get to those feelings? And then define your experience. And I think that's the nice thing when you start your own thing and you build your own community, is you get to define your experiences. There's a really cool book called The Art of Gathering. If you haven't read it, like, I'd highly, highly recommend it. And she talks about, don't get trapped into form. Like, she talks about, if you're putting on your birthday party, everyone's like, oh, well, you have to go out and get fucked and order a cake and whatever. She's like, but what do you want right now? Maybe in that moment, you just want a weekend away with people and to be deep and to meditate. Maybe that's all you want for that moment. Why do you think your birthday party has to be getting fucked with friends at a bar? Why can't it be with 10 people in a meditative retreat somewhere? Not like, we have these ideas in our mind of what a film festival is, right? Like, what a gathering is, what a happy hour is, whatever. Get away from that and go true to what you want and feeling. And I think with what Creator Camp is it's always connection. Like, the people I want you to come away being like, sick. I either met people, or I'm more inspired, or I'm inspired to meet more of these people, or I'm inspired to do more work. You want to feel like this is yours. Like, we want that whoever comes to feel like, yeah, like, this is your space that every year you can come back to, and it can, like, really mean something. And so how do you take that and how do you scale it to 1,200 people? We're trying to figure it out. I will not say to you at all that there is a formula, there is answers. There are elements that we're trying to infuse, but I think it's like, give us 3 to 5 years to have enough iterations and enough reps and to see enough things to then go, this is what that experience is going to need to feel like.
We talked a little bit before about maintaining the intimacy while still expanding the events, because obviously your Play of Storyteller started much, much smaller, and then now they've grown into bigger and bigger events. So how do you keep it feeling, that intimate and personal as you get, 100 people, 1,000 people into a crowd?
I think for playlist storytellers specifically, I've learned a couple things. I think one is, again, when you're trying to detail and create intimacy, every element of the show needs to reflect intimacy. So, an example, the way I set up the chairs is I set them up in like semicircles around the storyteller. So the
Campfire vibes.
The person that's the farthest away, even though like the next show I'm going to have 100 people there, but even though like the farthest person away still feels close. I do not want rows, because then if you're in row 3 in front of the storyteller and then I'm in row 19, oh man, those are just wildly different experiences. So 1 is the setup. 2 is how it's received. Like, we don't use a mic. Like, I want it to come from the person. I want it to feel like I'm in that living room with you at sundown, and like you got your heart on your sleeve, and you're sharing some like emotional shit, and we're about to listen to a song. And so we don't use a mic, and that to me is like that's my barometer. If someone in my setup cannot hear that person without needing a mic, done. Like, I'm testing to see, I've never done 100, but I'm going to test to see what does 100 feel like, and is 100 too much? And one of the measures is, can the person in that back row actually hear it? The second thing is the way it's set up, dude. Like, it's not this crazy show. There's no stage. Like, I want everyone to be on the same level. Sure, the storyteller sits on a stool that's a little higher than all other chairs, but there's no stage. The lighting is very simple. It's very raw. There isn't theatrics. There isn't, like, again, it's very, very, very raw. So there's how it's executed. There's like how close you are to that actual experience. And then it's what are these elements that make it human? Just think about if me and you were interacting, how do you take that and how do you scale it? And so I think on 100 people, I can do it. If it goes beyond 100, I don't know. And I can try to tell you there. On the creator camp side for our film festival, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like if you're filling, like we're filling the Paramount Theater for some of these films, 1,000, 1,200 people. I don't know that you can hold that. I think intimacy as a term changes when you get to certain levels. Like I think there can be an intimate 1,000-person event, but again, it's what are the different elements? What are the ways that someone is connected? What is the way that you try to give every single person in that room the same experience compared to, oh, if you're the first 200 people, you get a premium experience. And if you're the last 200 people, you get like a whatever, like peasantry experience. So it's taking human values and applying them to the show and making sure that those things stay true and having your boundaries. Like, for example, my boundary of if someone is talking and the farthest row can't hear them, okay, then like I'm passing that level of intimacy. So I would say like that's the best way to describe it and think about it right now.
Yeah, because if I think about shows, either theatre or concerts that I've been to, often it isn't the size of the crowd at all that dictates how close you feel to the person on stage. It is very much,
True.
It might just be the quality of the audio. Can you actually hear their voice and what's happening? It might be, are you doing huge pyrotechnics, or is it literally just one person with a spotlight on the stage? And things as simple as that, I think, can make such a big difference, even if, the crowd is, 30,000 people or more.
Dude, there's like a great example. Someone was telling me, I think they're like, we were at Billie Eilish's most recent arena tour.
Oh, it's sold out. I can't. Can't get to this new one.
Yeah, that woman's different, dude. But similar to what you were saying is they were like it felt intimate. It felt like everyone who was there for a purpose. The way she approached it, the way it was set up, the way the flow of the show happened. I just think a lot of people look at the word intimacy and go, well, you have to be like this. Like you have to be close. But I don't think that's true. I think to your point, which was a really good point, there's so many elements that go into creating something that is intimate. You just have to change the way you define intimacy, and you have to understand like the levers that are pulled at different levels to retain that intimacy. But also if you go to a 10,000 person show, like you're not expecting the same intimacy if you're in a room of 100 people. And if you go there expecting that intimacy, well, then I don't know what you're doing. Because there's going to be 10,000 people. Like, you're not going to get that same feeling or experience. But there are ways.
Potentially as well, you've got an element of storytelling. How engrossed are you into it? Because over the past couple of weeks, I went to 2 different West End shows. And one of them was with Brie Larson. It was very raw. It was very just a monologue. And it was fine. But you didn't feel that connected to it because it was just like a lot of Greek mythology that I couldn't really follow along with. And you always knew it was just someone on stage. Well, then I went to the Harry Potter the Cursed Child one, which was like a 5-hour performance. And usually half an hour after a concert starts, you're like, I'd be happy to go home right now. I'm enjoying it, but I'm good. And not at one moment throughout the entire 5 hours was I like, I need to go home. It felt like you were watching a movie the whole time. And I may be in the last row looking down from the 5th balcony. But that didn't matter because you felt so engrossed the whole time. And that you can keep people feeling like they're a part of the action even if, they're a million miles away. So I think there's, as you say, there's so many different ways to engross people within that, whether you call it intimacy or just, being engaged in what is happening in front of you. I think there's more ways to define that than what are usually discussed.
There's this scientific phenomenon called neural coupling. And what neural coupling is, it says that if a speaker delivers a story in a way that is in a language that's understood by the listener and in a way that is like emotionally compelling to the listener's brainwave and brain activity will start to match that of the speaker's. I.e., like if you can tell a really, really good story, the people you are telling the story to, they will start to feel the exact same thing that you felt, even though it was your story, and you're like helping them transport to that memory. And it goes to your point. It's how I view my show. It's like the reason the music feels different when an amazing story is told. And so my currency is the story. If the story isn't great, show sucks. similar to Creator Camp, when you think specifically to this film festival, if the films suck, that's going to be tough, dude. Like the films need to be great, because at the end, like, that's our currency. If you can tell something, if you can tell a story in a way that is received and is like, it's told in an emotional and captivating and understood way, to your point about your experience with that Harry Potter theater show, you will feel what they wanted you to feel, and that will do 99% of the job. And then sure, it's what's the lighting and what's the smell, and yeah, different elements just like can slowly marginally raise it, which I think the masters will do, and they'll understand like all the five senses within an experience. But yeah, that storytelling piece, to your point, so true. So true.
Because I noticed that as well if you're talking to people who are really passionate about a specific subject. I may have never cared about fishing before, I don't know, but if they talk about it in a way that they're really interested in, they can make anything interesting, because there is something else that comes behind it and they get you just as excited as they are, even if you'll never touch that subject again. In that moment, you are transported, but it must be a moment of like empathy, or that, you know, humans can correlate across, whether that be because someone says, you know, there's a wild boar on the other side of that hill, don't go there. So, okay, I'll embrace that fear. Or, you know, there's food on the other side, let's be excited together to find it. There might be an element there, core tribalism, that has carried across, where we are good at, when people tell a story, to embrace that internally beyond just a pure intellectual analysis.
Like storytelling can be, yeah, at its core, just telling a great 5-minute story, 2-minute story, fine. But then can you tell a story with an experience? And then can you tell a story that's conscious, or can you tell a story that's then subconscious to people, and that they leave going, why did I feel amazing? And you're like, because I essentially walked you through a story, but you don't realize this. And that's cool. It's like, I was talking to a friend about this. When I look at playlist storytellers, at the end of the day, what it is, it's like connecting to your own humanity. It's woo-woo as shit. But I'll never say that. I'm not going to be like, come to playlist storytellers, I'm going to help you. This is where you connect to your humanity. No fucking way. But it's the same thing it's the same thing with blockchain. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, our blah, blah, blah runs on blockchain. I'm like, I don't know what that is. But if you're like, no, our service will make it feel more secure and faster and da-da-da-da, you don't need to know what's on blockchain. Like, I don't need to tell you the emotional levers and the way I'm setting up my experience to make you feel something. All that matters is that at the end, you feel, that thing that the creator wanted you to feel, actually you end up feeling. And if that happens, great. And if there's going to be like 10% of those people that are like, damn, why did I feel like that? Like, how do I study that? Then there's going to be like 90% that are like, that was great. And then there's going to be 10% that were like, I don't know what that was, but that was cool. Like, that was fun. And all three buckets are amazing. But a lot of the time it's like the idea of like, hide the veggies. Like, a lot of the time you shouldn't be saying that there's broccoli in that spaghetti. Like, don't say it, but like, know it'll be good for someone.
If you enjoyed that discussion with Danny, you can click this video right here, which was my last discussion with Luca Fertmangus, who just as of today broke the record for the youngest man to travel to every single country on the planet. So if you want to learn his story, why he embarked on that adventure, and his process documenting his entire journey online, click that video right there. You won't regret it.